In today's video, we have many items to discuss, including some NHL RFA signings. The Flames have Troy Brouwer on waivers. The New York Rangers might be bringing over a forward from the KHL. Plus, we're going to discuss Shane Doan's jersey retirement. All that coming up next. Hey everyone, and welcome back to another video here at Top Shelf Hockey. If you're new to the channel, thanks for stopping by. We review and discuss all 31 NHL teams, so if you're a huge hockey fan, consider subscribing and clicking the bell so you don't miss anything. So as I mentioned off the top, we do have quite a bit to cover in this video, so let's jump right in here with the NHL RFA signings. Now the two players we're going to talk about today are a couple of Swedish defensemen who have just come to terms here with their NHL clubs. Let's first of all get started with the Colorado Avalanche coming to terms with defenseman Patrick Nemeth on a one-year contract. Nemeth's contract is valued at $2.5 million. Obviously, he formerly played with the Dallas Stars, came over to the Colorado Avalanche last season, and he did seem to fit in pretty well. The big Swedish stay-at-home defenseman put up 15 points in 68 games and seemed to be a pretty good fit with the Colorado Avalanche. So overall, I like this signing. I think it's a pretty fair contract. Gives him another year to really establish himself as a force on the Colorado blue line. And I'm sure if all things work out, he'll likely get an extension here before the end of the season. Next up, let's jump over to the other Swedish defenseman we want to discuss today, and that's Philadelphia Flyers' Robert Hagg. He signed himself a 2-year contract with $1.15 million per season. Last year, he got himself into 70 games, put up 9 points. Overall, I think he had a pretty decent season. So I think this is a pretty decent and fair contract for both sides here. It allows Hagg a chance to continue to develop his game before they consider signing him to a longer-term deal here. See how far he can take his game and how much improvement he can make over the next couple of seasons. Apparently, the New York Rangers are interested in bringing over a KHL forward, Sergei Shumakov. He's been playing for CSKA. Right now, he's in a little bit of a contract holdout. He's hoping that they'll trade his rights to another club, but at the same time, is actively trying to be released from his contract so he can move his game over to the NHL. It is rumored, like I said, that the Rangers are interested in bringing him into the fold. He's 25 years old, and he's a pretty decent offensively gifted forward. Last year in the KHL, he put up 40 points in 47 games. So we'll see if that comes to be. Obviously, he needs to first be released from his contract in the KHL before he can sign a deal with the Rangers. But they are apparently interested in bringing him over if he can make that happen. The Calgary Flames have placed forward Troy Brouwer on unconditional waivers for the purpose of being bought out. He still has 2 years remaining at $4.5 million. In case you're unfamiliar with how the buyouts work, is they take the remaining salary and the player gets 2/3 of that amount, but the team is allowed to extend it over twice the remaining time on the contract. So in Brouwer's case, he has $9 million owing, which is 4.5 times 2 left on his contract, which is $9 million. 2/3 of that would be $6 million. And if you take that, they're allowed to pay that out to him over 4 years instead of the 2 that's remaining, which gives them a cap hit of $1.5 million for the next 4 seasons. So over the next 2 seasons, while he would have been playing for the Flames anyways, they're going to save $3 million in cap space. But of course, the 2 years after that, they'll have a cap hit of $1.5 million still on the books for that buyout. Overall, though, I think it's a good move for the Calgary Flames. They've also brought in a lot of talent here during the offseason between James Neal and Elias Lindholm. So they do have a little bit of a logjam at the forward position. And as we know, Troy Brouwer's been on a steady decline now for about 4 seasons. His offensive statistics have dropped 4 consecutive seasons here. He's been on a decline, and it's something that you kind of seen coming here from the Flames. Once they get all their other RFA contracts seen to, they had another buyout window open up for them, and they were able to make this happen. Over the past 4 seasons, Troy Brouwer went from scoring 21 goals down to 18 goals, down to 13 goals, and down to 6 goals. He's now 32 years old. Like I said, he's been steadily declining for the past 4 seasons. I wouldn't be completely shocked to see Troy Brouwer get signed by another team here on a short-term, lower-valued contract, maybe like a 1-year, $1 million, or possibly even less than that, depending on what teams have available here. Or at the very least, he likely could get invited to different training camps on a professional tryout. I don't necessarily think this is the end of the road for Brouwer, but I don't think he's too far off the mark. Like I said, he's been declining for 4 straight seasons. Really, ever since he's left Washington, his play has been steadily declining. Even the last year in Washington wasn't too bad. That's where he scored the 21 goals. He did okay in St. Louis, but then his 2 years in Calgary has just been declining even more. Obviously, last year was a rough year for Brouwer. So overall, I like this move for the Calgary Flames. It opens up a little bit more flexibility and maybe opens the door for one of their prospects like a Spencer Fu or a Dylan Dubé to have a little bit more of an opportunity to get some ice time with the Flames club this season. Now, last but not least here, I wanted to touch on the fact that the Arizona Coyotes are going to retire the jersey of their longtime captain, Shane Doan. As we know, Doan recently retired, and obviously this is something that we kind of seen coming here. Number 19 is going to be raised to the rafters with the Arizona Coyotes, and I think it's a great choice by the team to go ahead and make this move. They're going to be retiring that jersey at a game during the 18-19 season, and it's only fitting that when they do that, the visiting team is going to be the Winnipeg Jets. Obviously, as we know, the Winnipeg Jets became the Arizona Coyotes, and Doan did play one season with Winnipeg before the team relocated to Arizona. So obviously there's that history there, which makes it fitting as well. Obviously, as we know, Shane Doan had a tremendous career, longtime captain, great leader, an excellent power forward type of player. Shane Doan played in 1,540 games, scored 402 goals, 570 assists for 972 points. It's a shame he didn't hit that 1,000-point plateau or get a chance to hoist the Stanley Cup, because he did have an absolutely tremendous career. Will go down as one of the greater leaders of his generation for sure. But it's going to be great to see number 19 raised to the rafters in Arizona. Here's a quick fun fact about Shane Doan as well, just in case you didn't know. I had an opportunity to listen to an interview with Doan on NHL Network Radio today, and asked a couple questions that I thought were kind of neat, so I thought I would pass along the information just as a fun fact here about Doan. The question was asked, how did you decide to make number 19 your number? Now, the host alluded to the fact that perhaps players like Steve Yzerman and Joe Sakic, who came before him and would have been players that he looked up to growing up, maybe were the influence to wear number 19. And he did admit that he really enjoyed those players, but that wasn't the main reason on how it came to be. When Doan was playing his junior hockey for the Kamloops Blazers in the WHL during his first season, when it came time to pick numbers, he was near one of the last ones to get a chance to pick his number, being new to the team. He had two choices. He could either pick number 19 or number 28. Now, the number 28 was recently vacated by Scott Niedermayer. As we know, Scott Niedermayer had a tremendous junior career, went on to have one of the best careers in the NHL and international hockey. Scott Niedermayer is a little bit of a legend in my opinion. He's really done everything there is to do in the game of hockey, and is one of the greatest defensemen of all time to play the game. So he really didn't feel like he wanted to wear number 28 and live in that shadow. So he's like, no, I'll make 19 my number. And the other thing he mentioned too was, statistically speaking, 19 does have a really good history with being a high scoring number as well. But that's the main reason how he chose 19, is that he didn't want to have Scott Niedermayer's old number, so he didn't have those big shoes to live up to moving forward to start his junior career in Kamloops. Another quick fun fact about Shane Doan here as well is one of his biggest fans is actually YouTuber Vegas Golden Knights coverage. Obviously, as you probably are familiar with Louis by now, he's been on the channel a few times, and I know he's kind of growing in popularity here amongst the YouTube hockey community. But obviously, Doan was his all-time favorite player. Before the Vegas Golden Knights existed, he was a big Coyotes fan, a big enough fan that he actually named his oldest son after Shane Doan. So just a quick plug for him on his channel here. If you haven't done so already, go over and check out Louis at Vegas Golden Knights coverage. He does some tremendous content, some tremendous work. So make sure you leave some comments down below about the contracts we discussed today, as well as the Brouwer buyout, as well as your thoughts on the Shane Doan jersey retirement. If you're new to the channel here, I hope you consider subscribing. We cover all 31 NHL teams, and there's plenty of content here for all hockey fans to enjoy. So if you're new, hit that subscribe button. If you like this video, hit the like button as well. I'd appreciate it if you did. As always, thank you very much for watching, everybody. We will catch you next time.